Hey, it's Dave from the Camera Store. Today it's all about bokeh with a brand new Sony 85mm 1.4 version 2. So way back in 2016, Sony launched the original 1.4 85 G Master lens, and it was really well received. It was a very, very good lens. But Sony's made a lot of strides to improve their lenses in both autofocus and in their chromatic aberration, and so we've been anxiously anticipating to see a new version of this lens, and finally it is here. It's taken 8 years, but now we have the brand new 85 1.4 version 2, and it is filled with the latest and greatest technology that Sony has to offer. Now I know everybody wants to know about the image quality, so we're going to wait till a little later in the episode. We have a few things to cover before that, so let's get into it. Well, first let's talk about what an 85mm lens is all about. Now, 85mm lens is almost purpose-built for doing head and shoulder portraits. In fact, we're filming this whole episode on an 85 1.4 G Master version 1 to kind of give you a look of what you'd expect when you're shooting with an 85mm lens. It's beautiful for that nice little bit of creamy compression. We have this nice background blur, but we also are in a really good working distance with my subject. When I first got my hands on this lens, it's always that first impression that really makes a big difference. And what I noticed right off the bat was this lens is certainly smaller and lighter than the original G Master 1. In fact, it comes in at 20% lighter and 13% smaller, 642 grams in fact, so it does feel better balanced on the camera. Now when it comes to the buttons and controls of this lens, Sony has a sort of standardized look and feel to their lenses. If you've used any other more recent prime lenses, it's going to feel right at home. I mean, you do have a clickable or declickable aperture ring, which is really nice to work with. Now if you wanted to use the manual focus ring, you certainly can. However, you're not actually driving the optics itself, you're just driving by wire. But Sony has a great feel to that, and it feels very natural when you are actually manually focusing. You have a couple customizable buttons and a 77mm filter thread with a fluorine coated front element. So it's designed to keep it nice and clean, and the lens is fully weather sealed. I mean, overall, Sony's been stepping up their game when it comes to their G Master lenses, and this is no exception. This is a fantastic lens that's very well built. Now, when it comes to autofocus, generally 85mm lenses aren't known to be super fast, and that's because there's a lot of big glass they have to move around to make it work. And it's not that fast-paced action kind of photography. We don't typically use 85s for doing sports and action. However, compared to the original 85 G Master lens here, you can see the autofocus test we did here. The original 85 certainly focused okay, but it wasn't anywhere nearly as quick as the latest and greatest from here. The new generation G Master version 2 does have linear autofocus motors, and they snap to focus significantly quicker and faster. Now this is really important and does play a big factor. If you are shooting a model that's moving forward and backwards and you're shooting at that 1.4 aperture, the autofocus performance does play a big factor in getting quality shots consistently. Now when it comes to image quality with this lens, yeah, it is sharp, as you'd expect from an 85 G Master series lens, especially the version 2. Now, what we're getting is 14 different elements in 11 different groups. Yeah, we have 2 ED elements and 2 XA elements, all producing exceptionally good image quality. I mean, you take a look at this shot here, you're going to see that the center sharpness is very, very good, and as we pan off into the corners, it's still incredibly sharp, and stopping it down only does a little bit marginally better. When it comes to vignetting, there's just a tiny little bit at 1.4. Chromatic aberration is well controlled. This lens is the best that Sony can make, and it really shows in the images. So what's it like to actually work with this lens? We had the chance to take it out to a bunch of different places, my own personal stuff, but also we took it to the Calgary Folk Festival, where I had the chance to shoot the Roots on stage, and this is a perfect place to shoot a lens like this. We have sort of concert lighting, so it's all over the place and it's mixed. And I really want to get some isolation and some separation. We have a really dynamic singer and a bunch of the members in the band. Being able to isolate them, but have that level of crispness, that level of sharpness was brilliant. I love the look I was getting out of it, and the results are exceptional. I mean, how sharp it is, but the separation and the look overall, the images are just popping off the screen. This lens doesn't disappoint whatsoever. It's the best that Sony can make, and it's one of the best 85mm lenses I've ever used. Now I know during our time with this lens, Evan and I were both fighting over this lens, and that's a very good sign for a manufacturer when you have two hosts who want this lens more and more, because we can't wait to see the results out of it. Now the original 85 1.4 was a very good lens for its time. The new 85 1.4 version 2 has updated everything. It is sharper, it is lighter, it is smaller, and it produces exceptional image quality, and it's something I urge you, especially if you're in the Sony ecosystem, to check out this lens. I of course want to know what you guys think of this latest offering from Sony. Make sure you leave comments down below. Follow us both on Instagram, and please hit that notification bell. It's been Dave from the Camera Store. We'll catch you again soon. Hey, I hope you liked watching this last episode on the 85G Master version 2. If you want to check out more of our recent content, click up here. And if you're Canadian and you want to support local, check out thecamerastore.com down here.